Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Steppich, will you take attendance, please?
Certainly. President D'Alessandro. Here. Vice President Shoemaker.
Here.
Treasurer Swag.
Here.
Secretary Steppick here. Trustee Brazington.
Here.
Trustee Mitchell.
Here.
Trustee Reese.
Here. Thank you. Any changes to the board agenda? None? No changes?
No.
Thank you. Item number 3, consent agenda. We have meeting minutes from August 9th, bills payable from June 2016, bills payable for July 2016, and we have recommendations for employment. Mr. Reese.
Move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Support. Support, Mr. Steppick. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, prearranged request to address the board. We have item A, Oxford Virtual Academy.
Mike's looking at us like, wait a minute, did you guys just talk back in May?
I said that all with a look.
Yeah, you did. And so we, yes, we did. We were just here, like not too long ago, like 3 months. And the reason being was this is normally Crossroads night, but we wanted to give Guy a break, being new to the admin staff, so we didn't want to force him to be presenting to you guys in the first 2 weeks of his job. So then now it is. I'm going to be very, very, very quick. Actually, you guys going first?
Janice, go ahead.
You lied.
I did. I found out I lied.
So before Drew kind of goes into the state of the school and his overview, we just wanted to highlight, because we're so excited about some of our students. This is a group of Link dance students that have been in the news. So we just wanted to point out them. They're on our Facebook page. That's quite an extraordinary group of girls. They perform, some of them at the Houston Ballet, very prestigious dance academy. So we're really excited that they chose Oxford to do their virtual education while being able to pursue that dream. And then this is a celebration story of a student who had some pretty grown-up things happen to her while a fresh sophomore with us. And she graduated this summer. Pretty thrilling for her. So we just wanted to point out Sam to the group tonight. So before Drew starts. Oh, and you got to go. This is where they were on TV. Yeah. And this is the Opera House that we are starting a new partnership with. So we have full-time students that are coming, many of them out of Connections Learning, but had heard about Oxford Virtual Academy through friends of friends and word of mouth, and what a quality program we have. So we have many new students coming in from the Detroit Ballet, and we're really excited about that new partnership. We also have some gymnasts joining us too, speaking of Olympics. So pretty
So the
exciting.
Detroit Ballet and Detroit Opera House, we're actually in negotiations to take over being their primary education facility, so that we can actually set up shop down in Detroit with them, where all of their students, both here residential and the students that come from Russia, would be able to take all of their classes through the Oxford Virtual Academy.
Wow.
So we're pretty excited about that, and it could really open up a lot of the realms for us locally and internationally.
So I apologize, I couldn't have students here tonight, but everybody's just not even quite back yet. So we just thought we'd highlight a few.
This is our tech guy. He's struggling.
While he's working on that, just a question, are those full FTEs?
To clap.
They would, yes, for the ballet and all that. Yep, we would incorporate their ballet courses and has a lot of their TV credits, so that we can accommodate their extra needs. You can go. So I just wanted to, we got some of our numbers back from, we joined a partnership where we had to apply to be what is called MEMCA certified. It's the Michigan Early Middle College Association. There's 21 schools in Michigan that have been accepted. It took us 2 years of presenting and applying to become accepted. There's 94 early college schools in Michigan. Only 21 have been accepted into the MEMCA program. It's pretty prestigious for an early college program. It really kind of follows a lot of our data. They do a lot of reporting for us. They carry on a lot of student leadership programs. A lot of exciting opportunities for us. I did mention to you guys in the spring that Washtenaw Community College is brand new to us. We are extremely excited to bring them on. For last spring, I don't think I had these numbers when we talked last time, OSEC SAT score was 1155.2, which is a ACT equivalency of 25.3. So we draw some good kids, but we also are very diligent on making sure they go through their SAT prep course. The nice thing about the MEMCA data is it allows us to see our GPA versus other Michigan early college GPAs. So our cumulative college GPA, only the classes they take in college, was a 3.67. The average around the state for the other 20 schools was 3.1. Our percent of college courses passed was 97%. The average is 91%. So last year, our total number of college credits earned by the 17 graduates was 835 credits. So that's pretty exciting. This year we're going to enter the school year with about 181. That number keeps going up daily. So we're excited, but that's a big group. So I just wanted to give a little recognition to some of our staff members. 2 of our staff members have really brought their attention. Oxford has been enlightened by these 2 individuals. The state has really recognized them. Many of you know Kat Karen. She does a lot of our pupil accounting work. She does a lot of our enrollment and stuff. She has been selected to serve on the Michigan Pupil Accounting and Attendance Association Board. She is now the LEA representative, which is she represents all traditional public schools for the Michigan Pupil Accounting Association, that's a pretty big honor. She gets to see all the pupil accounting documents before they're ever released to the public. So we get to see a nice little insight on what's upcoming. Matt, who is up here with us tonight, he was selected to be a member of the Michigan Department of Ed Technology Evaluation Plan. So a lot of his skills that he's been able to apply with us, he's now sharing with the rest of the state and giving them input as we go forward. So his knowledge and leadership has really been beneficial to us, and now we get to kind of influence the way the state develops their educational plans moving forward. And I think I showed you guys this last time. These are the number of shared time schools that we picked up this year. We hope to double our number of FTEs that we acquired through shared time last year. So we see a nice increase here. That's the end of me. All of you.
So we just kind of thought we'd try to give you a window into the online world. Kind of a lot of people think, gosh, online, and have never taught or never taken an online class. So we thought we'd just share this opportunity to kind of get you in to see what an online teacher experiences. Even most experienced teacher oftentimes can feel like a novice. I mean, most often when teaching from a distance, so we continue to hone our craft, develop new pedagogy with new technologies, we cultivate relationships and engage students in the content. So these are our vendors that we have. We are really excited, super excited about our new lab. Thank you to everybody that is a part of that and your trust in us. You can see the picture on the right. I took that today, so we're really close to being done. We're super excited to offer our K-5 students a place to come and learn, and that so many people are enrolling because of that. Online education for K-5 can be difficult. It's a lot of responsibility for the parent, but now they can partner, bring their kids in, get help, have a parent engagement room, drop them off for a little while, pick them back up. We're going to have writing clubs, coding clubs, STEM engineering courses. We're going to bring the middle schoolers over. So we're doing math and munchies. We're going to target some of the struggles that they might, that we're seeing with maybe with the M-STEP. So we're really kind of honing in on our intervention and looking forward to that. The big thing at Oxford Virtual Academy, and I think what sets us apart, I spent the summer doing a lot of marketing and coaching families and information meetings, and to the person, everybody that's coming in has said to me, we heard about you from a friend who said you guys are so amazing with your customer service and how well you treat your students, and so a lot of it's referral based, right? They tell two friends. So my model person that I always look to is I love Rita Pearson, and she says that every child deserves a champion, an adult who never gives up on them, who understands the power of connection and insists they become the best they can possibly be. So we really, really focus on cultivating relationships and delivering quality online curriculum. And we always talk about how there's a lot of online schools out there, but I have to say tonight I can honestly and fully brag about my staff. They are incredible. What they do, coming in without a lot of background, maybe they might have technology, but to be able to teach online is quite a gift. And it takes a lot of time and energy and learning. So these are the questions we ask. How do we make connections? How do we close the cyber gap? How do we bring relationship, create meaning, find joy and fulfillment as we traverse the new educational landscape? And those are the questions that we all ask ourselves, right? We want teachers that are fulfilled and connecting with their students. That's probably the number one question that they ask in an interview. Will I still get to work with kids? And the fear of that we're like, are you kidding me? That you will be working with them at a whole new level. So it's pretty exciting with all the technology that we can bring to the table to deliver that curriculum. And Matt is a huge part of professional development. He's going to speak to that in a minute. It truly is a different way of educating and delivering the curriculum. Turn it over to you.
Okay. Where online is different from a traditional classroom is our courses need to be prepared day one. So the day that the kids jump into the classroom is the whole curriculum needs to be prepared. There isn't I had an idea on Saturday night, I'm going to have it ready for Monday morning. I need to get my curriculum figured out in the end of the summer, in that short window of time, to get those kids and those classes perfect, so that when they enter that class, changes don't happen and that class is perfect for them. So what our teachers are doing right now is they're all in our online vendors, and they're going through the curriculum and they're weeding through it, and they're making sure that online curriculum has that quality that we're looking for. Is something too long that we can shorten down? Is there something that we can take out and put in something better? What can we do to make that Oxford curriculum more quality? They're looking into ways of connecting with kids. They do webcasts or screencasts similar to this one, where they would just jump in, find a concept like this chemistry concept, and be able to do an online whiteboard and scribble some things down so they can explain that concept that maybe they realized that curriculum wasn't doing as good of a job as it could. They're making phone calls and connecting with students right now. Some of our teachers aren't back yet. Our kids are connecting with their teachers, with their mentors, and we're already making those connections this early in the year, before school has even started. They work with online whiteboards and virtual technology, whether it be Google Hangouts or Skype, or even just picking up the phone and connecting through an online whiteboard, or Adobe Connect. We have all of these tools that we use, and it's just like arrows in our quiver that we pull out and we're able to bring into our online classroom. We have teachers who are reading and trying to figure out how can we, I think, what's that book again, Janet?
The Golden Secret.
The Golden Secret of digital learning. So that we're learning as we go, so that we can bring, and as the years go on, we can make our Oxford curriculum better. Our elementary teacher, we have teachers like Michelle Green who will make connections with kids, and they read their papers, and when you could turn your paper into your English teacher, and then you'd wait for them to get it back. Our teacher here is able to connect with that student by online ways, and
Hey, Mia, I want to give you some feedback on your family narrative draft. I hope you're having a great day today. It was nice to be able to connect through the live lesson. In terms of your draft, I have your lesson 6 up here because I just want to kind of remind you of a couple key indicators or key factors for the narrative. There's that tension that's going to sort of.
So that's just a snippet of it, but some of her videos on those online lessons and those papers that she reads can be 7 minutes long, where she's going through and highlighting the things that they did well on, what did they struggle on, and what can they make better. So our teachers are finding ways to reach out that way. Personalization and customization, that is kind of our mantra. How can we personalize, how can we customize to make our courses better? Some different ways that we are customizing. Upper left-hand corner, we're adding an interactive notebook or digital notebooks to all classes. So students have to, we think notes are important. You don't do just everything online, so you can write out your notes if you want, but you can also turn in an interactive notebook. We're building projects like Google Tours. Tour Builder is a really cool program. It's actually built with military men in mind, so they come back from the war and actually tell their story. But Google brought that up, and schools have grabbed onto this, and being able to walk somebody through a story from a book or a story from history and show those parts of it. Bringing in YouTube videos that maybe explain a concept better, or having the kids create their own websites so that they not only use the content knowledge they have, but they bring in a technology base as well. So something that you need to do, you need to like us on Facebook. I worked with a lot of the marketing this summer and put together a lot of ads, and we need as many people as possible can like us on Facebook. So you can go right to that QR code right now. You can click on your phone, click that QR code, and then just like us on Facebook right away. We put some cool ads up, and they highlight our students and what our students do, and the different programs that we have. And if you're still on the fence,
Roll out.
we got so
Until Friday.
so that's us.
Good job.
Questions?
I don't have a question, I have a comment. Drew, ever since you came to this district and took over this virtual program, and you surrounded yourself by people of quality.
That's the key.
Yep, and you knew, and you brought them on board. And because of this, you have set that bar so high for Oxford and the Virtual Academy. I just can't tell you how proud I am of this program.
So I did highlight at our staff meeting this Monday that 3 of the main people that started this program way back when was Janet, Matt, and Kat Karen. And they are still the main components of this program today. So that's very exciting.
I would have to echo what Carol said. Since the beginning and watching how this has developed and being privileged to be able to see it develop and to see your excitement and to see that you're never satisfied. It's like every time you present and we're doing this and we want to do this and we want to go to the next level and we want to make it better. And like you said about word of mouth, that's how it is with any business. And if you've got good word of mouth, it'll keep growing as long as you keep on top of the heap there.
We interviewed and hired a teacher this morning. She wanted to work here so bad because of the experience she had when her son was with us 3 years ago. So she was willing to not really take other jobs so that she could come work in ours.
It's just so exciting to see the opportunities that students have to go pursue, you know, ballet, dance, gymnastics, whatever it is. You know, there was a kid a couple years ago, I think, that was touring with his dad in a band or something, and he was fantastic. Could sing, it's just incredible, and this is amazing. It's just a great program.
I just have a comment. I mean, absolutely mirrors what they're saying, but on the other side of it, I saw a program on HBO last night talking about, it was John Oliver's show, about charter schools and online schools and how across the country there's huge failure rate. I mean, some of them don't even stay open 6 weeks.
Yep.
And, you know, so we're definitely way far on the other side of that scale, which I love, which is awesome.
So one of the things that we kind of always tout is the average successful completion rate for a student in an online course is about 53%. For us, we hit about 85, 86 this last year.
That's huge.
So we're blowing 40% above anybody else, and my
It'll be
staff,
higher.
they'll know that every single one from me down to every single person this year, their number one goal is successful completion of courses. So that 85 is not good enough for us.
And the key is successful completion. Some schools just push it through and skim over the content. That's the balance, right? Is that customization and really getting the kids to go into the content and learn it well and meet their needs while completing on time. So, yeah.
I'm just impressed also by the OSAC data. And I think that's important that you're tracking that. Is that online, like when you,
It
if
will
somebody
be.
were to go
Yeah,
on
we
and check
just
you
got it.
guys out, that would be.
We just got it last Thursday, so it will be.
Yeah, it's huge. And just congratulations, Matt, and of course, Catherine's not here, but it's neat to see that not only are you getting chosen to do some really awesome things, but you're representing Oxford so well, so congratulations on that. But I think what I like the most is, even though we're doing things like that, I still hear the kids, the kids, the kids, the kids, the kids. So the focus has not switched to adults, and sometimes that might be the failure reading in other area companies. Check out Livingston Christian, because they have the largest Christian school in Livingston County. I didn't see them on your list.
No.
And I know that because I lived there and I have a son that went there, so. And then the other thing I was just thinking, I think Jim was talking about the flexibility that the kids have and they're able to pursue the other interests. We have so many parents now that work at home. And now we have kids that learn at home. And you think about the opportunities and the potential for those parents and those kids when that starts to blend together and they're both at home. You talk about building relationships and impacting your kids rather than sending them out. I think this is the way to the future because I think a lot of people are going to love that. So, good job.
Thank you all for trusting us.
We can all school it, like, we'll go around this.
Let's go. I know,
Say something.
I know they've gotten plenty of compliments already, but they never get too many. I was fortunate to be around when you folks started, when you mentioned those three, I knew all of you. And we're all started in your garage, and we worked.
We're a garage band.
But I think the most impressive thing to me is certainly how far you've come, but you've always focused on student success. Ever since I've heard you talking about this from back in those good old days to all the way through, you emphasize the student and the success of the student, and that has sold your program. And like you say, it's by word of mouth, and that's your customer service base, and you can't get better than that, and you didn't approach it from a profit motivation so much as a student success motivation. And I think that's what's allowed you and your staff to be so effective with this group is you pretty much say, we'll find a way for you to learn. It's not like, well, we don't work with that group because it's cost prohibitive. You go like, we don't know what the population of that group is, but if you're telling us this is what you do, you tour in a band, let's try this one. And that's where I see the excitement in your staff where they're going, it's not like, well, we can't do that. It's like, let's get this one. It's even better than what we've done before. And you keep comparing yourselves to yourselves, which is great. And that's why you say when we're at 85, you go, I know what other online schools are at, but that's not what we're concerned with. We're concerned with what we're at, and it's very impressive.
Yeah, and I would echo, I appreciate the data. I was in the basement of this building teaching the first class, and the three of you showed me how to be an online teacher. So your enthusiasm, your passion for kids, the numbers, the data that you're collecting. I also just want to mention that I know how hard the building principals work with your staff because some of your kids cross over. And it was a challenge when it first started, and you guys worked through it, and it's neat to see that relationship that OVA now has with the traditional buildings.
So yeah, you're right. It was funny at first, but I can tell you now, it's seamless. I mean,
It was great. It was great welcoming them to the buildings when I was here. So, so congratulations.
Thank you.
I just liked you guys.
Yeah,
Well, I just want to say, obviously everybody's throwing the glowing praise ways down, and I'm gonna echo that. But I will say, you not only are doing a tremendous thing for your online students, you also have to realize the impact that you're having on our entire district from a financial perspective. So I want to thank you for that. I know the hard work that you all do. So every kid in this district appreciates what you all do, not just your older students. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. All right. Moving on, item number 5, Board of Education matters. Item number 6, curriculum and instruction, Mr. Weaver.
Yeah, we've just a quick little presentation on student growth. And out here, Nancy and I have been working with building principals on getting ready to roll out the plan for student growth. So, shoot, I should have told you. You shut it all the way down, Matt?
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. The time it comes back up, we'll probably...
He's gonna unlike it now.
Sorry. Wishful thinking, is that what you're...
I don't like the feeling. No pressure, I'm liking him on Facebook. Elise, are you gonna like him on Facebook tonight? Sure hope so.
What you have in front of you, I think all of you have it, is this is what's going to be given to, do you have one, Nancy?
Do you have a pledge?
Yeah. That's in my pocket, or did I leave it in the seat? If I can fish it out. There we go. You want to walk out?
Yeah.
All right, what you have in front of you is basically a checklist for administrators and teachers as we're rolling out the student growth measure. As you know, it's required by the state to come up with a measurement for student growth the next 2 years. It's just a local measure. 18, 19, you start throwing in the state data as well too. So at this point, it's just what local measurements you can have. And so, to be honest, we're starting at ground zero. Didn't know what happened off these. We're starting from ground zero with local data and stuff like that, so we're really trying to build this from the ground up, and so we're pretty eager. We've got a full professional development planned around not only the SLOs, but implementing some curriculum. And so trying to find that balance in that, what we are looking at doing is having the rollout start in the first semester. And you can kind of read through this here where the teachers are going to be prepped, they're going to do their research, they're going to start looking at the data. The MSTEP data is not quite back yet. We've started to get some aggregate results, but we really need the item analysis, which should be back probably, I would say, in about a month is what we're hearing. So we're going to be getting the teachers prepped in the first part, in the first semester, and then they are going to write their first SLO the second semester. We changed a little bit of our approach in the fact that at first we thought we would do them for a year, all year, but we realized that that was a little too long and we shortened them to, did you find it?
Is it on?
It's on the flash.
PowerPoint?
No, I was just going to show them the document.
Right.
Okay, just go in there. Find slow documents. Slow documents. And then if I can check this or whatever it is. Educator checklist right there.
Whoops.
We're quite a pair.
Yeah. Tell me rehearsed this twice.
Yeah. All right, there you go. Just so you can see it as well too, those in the audience. So the first steps in the first semester is basically educate the teachers in the different aspects of the SLO and what it all takes. Then the teacher teams will start reviewing student level data. Then they will start developing their SLO, and then they will start creating pre and post assessments. This is going to take some time. And so to give ourselves a little bit more time to roll these out, we kind of stretched out the first year a little bit more, and then second semester, they'll actually be implementing one. Then next year, they will be doing 4 of them, 2 a semester. So we wanted them to get their feet wet. We felt also that we would take them through the first one, the second semester. They're very complicated, making sure they understood all the parts, and that it would be better for the administrators, because you're sitting there and like at the high school, there's 90-some teachers that all have to do this. If all of them do 4, that's 360 of them that they're looking at. That's a lot to balance and a lot to try to handle in the first year. So the first year we realized that we needed to back these off a little bit. And so the first semester is educating them on it. Second semester is actually doing it. They'll do 1. And then next year, in the following year, they'll end up doing 4 of them, 2 a semester with their kids. One will always be either reading or math, depending on which subject they're in. The other one will be content specific. So if I'm a CTE teacher, I'll do 1 on reading in my content area, and then the other one I'll do on an actual standard in CTE. So that I'm also looking at focusing on my own content as well too. And they'll do that both semesters, first and second semester. So it also, what really is nice about setting it up as a semester is it really does take us through the PLC process, which we're trying to get in. So what we're hoping is that yes, I have to do this for my student growth measure, but what we are really hoping is that this takes off and they use it for all units and for more of their instructional practices than just the student growth measure that they have to do. The real trick in all of this is that we can hopefully get professional learning communities started and effectively implemented at the buildings and at the different schools, so that we can then share, talk about the results, and really help each teacher develop their own craft in that regard. Okay? What you have in front of you is basically the front page is the 16-17 schedule. The back page of that is the 17-18 schedule. And then this here is more, you can see all the different parts that go into this process. This red, blue, and yellow, and black checklist is basically the step-by-step process that they will be going through. Just kind of wanted to update you on a little bit of the changes or tweaks that we did as we went through and tried to look at rolling this out. This has pretty much consumed our lives for the last few weeks, but we're pretty much there. I think about the only last document that we've got to work on is the actual template, which there's just a few technical tweaks that I've got to try to figure out as well too. So do you have any questions, concerns?
Question? Mr. Schweig?
Comment, and as I was looking at this, and you just mentioned that.
Please don't tell me you found typos.
I was actually, from what you were saying, and right up to the end where you said how long this consumed you, that's what I was noticing, that putting this all in order and conciseness, and that makes it seem very easy, but I know a lot of work goes into how you determine it, and your explanation is really appreciated by me, that it's well thought out. These things can be cut and pasted and put in and done and then just rolled out to everybody. But I really think that you're making a good decision by taking your time and implementing it so that it's done well. And you don't have to go back and fix so many things if you do it in too much of a hurry. And that also limits the effectiveness of it as you're doing it. I think this way, it's a little slower, but it's checking with everybody to make sure they feel comfortable with it, and it's more successful. So
Yeah, that's what we're hoping. Plus, it goes hand in hand with our efforts with we've got an assessment action plan that we are putting in place with balanced assessment as well too, that we are trying to develop common assessments and pushing that. We were actually, I had the world language teachers in today, and they were working on quite a few of their assessments, and they're trying to get ahead of this as well too. So we really are starting to push that ball, moving on to common assessments and getting that built, because that infrastructure is needed to get that data. Because if we wait for the state all the time, and that's what I've been preaching, you end up on their time schedule. We can't wait for them, because they're probably going to be at least another month before they get the item analysis. We got to go with this from the SLOs right from the start. So we've got to have that data, and the only way to have that data on our time scale is to make sure that we are producing the data ourselves. So we're creating that, and on the other hand, Nathan Spencer's helping us, as well as we brought in a professor from MSU to help us develop PLCs, which are basically collaborative teacher groups that they're sitting around. It's more focused. It's not just, hey, we're going to sit around and talk. It's they've got data, test results in front of them. They're analyzing the results, discussing how, hey, how did you teach this? What did you do that worked that didn't seem to work for my kids? So we're really trying to build this all the way across and hit all of the different pillars. And it's really our emphasis on PD this year, as well as always IB and making sure that's going. Any other questions?
Thanks, Ken.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Item 7, finance operations, Mr. Bryan.
We have 2 resolutions, recommendations for action for last board meetings, discussions.
You want to just go ahead and, you want us to just make the recommendation, or you want to?
Sure.
Okay. Item A is school bond loan fund annual application. Mrs. Bridget.
I move to approve the resolution for annual loan activity application as presented.
Support. Mr. Schweig. Any discussion?
I have a question for Sam. Is this to fill in the gap when we don't have our, the taxes collected yet? Is that what this is for?
Actually, yes, so this keeps our 70.9 mil steady. So we annually borrow from the school bond loan revolving fund approximately $10.4, $10.5 million per year. We don't usually have to borrow this now until May, but the application is due in the summer. And so prior to paying the following May.
And this keeps it at the 7.5?
It does, yes, it does.
So we're filling the application now for next.
Correct, for next May of 2017. In the past, because we were collecting taxes basically more towards, split between the winter and the summer months, now it's mostly summer collection. Our cash flow was in dire need during this time, and so we were borrowing back in this time frame and also in November, because obviously we don't get state aid payments during the month of September, so there's that hole. And so now that we're getting tax collection more in the summer, we're not having to borrow, and so it's delayed.
Thank you, Sam. Any other further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have item B, the assignment of school districts to lots in new development south of East Drainer Road and west of Bar Road called North Oakland Woods. We have we have Joe Ferrari from the township here, and I know there were some questions surrounding it from board members, and we wanted to make sure that we had those answers to those questions before. And Joe was gracious enough to come to the meeting tonight. So, Joe, you want to come up if anybody has any questions for Joe? I think now would be the appropriate time.
So were you happy with the resolution that the district worked out with Lake Orion?
I think it's the best way to do it. Once you do split school districts, we've got a couple of them I've worked with Sam and John over in Highview. It's just a nightmare. Because then you got half goes to Oxford, half goes to Orion, and then they get 2 tax bills twice a year. And right now the current owner knows that. The future owner may not know that. They worry about possibly somebody losing their property because they know they had 2 tax bills for the same parcel, but just split by school districts. This is the best way to do it, have a negotiated agreement right from the start. So if somebody wants one of these lots, they'll know, I want to be in the Oxford School District. Here's the lot your choice of. I want to be in the Orange School District. Here's your choice of lots. No questions.
Joe, I missed those meetings. Is there like a dividing line that
Yes.
distinguishes Orion's over here, and is that what it is?
Yeah, school districts have their own lines,
Yes.
the boundaries. It's more negotiable. Township lines aren't negotiable.
And
The
this
schools depend, what you 2 agree on, that Sam and John Fitzgerald from Oregon go to the ISD, petition to change it, it'll be done.
The hard part is multiple properties are on both sides of the line, so you kind of have to pick like who's going to get which one.
It was probably, I'm sure, John and Sam worked it out as to who had the most property. If most of it was in Oxford, and that one was an Oxford district.
So if it's greater than 50, if that lot has greater than 50% of its property in Oxford, then it would be an Oxford school.
Yeah, that's really eyeballing it, and, you know, trying to look at where on that map, where the house would supposedly go on those individual lots as well, was a determining factor. We don't know where those lots are gonna go, but you have a pretty good idea by that diagram where they would probably end up. And so if the majority of the home as well as the land was in, obviously, a certain school district, we labeled it as such.
So looking at the setbacks and.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah, there's some small setback lines in each of those, and they're dotted lines, actually, dashed lines.
Joe, will this come up again? Is this a one-time thing, or is this gonna, as subdivisions?
Hopefully, as long as Sam and John coordinate each other and they're involved with our offices, hopefully it comes up more often than not. Because I'm dealing with the ones over there in Highview, it's just a nightmare, because they're split between both the two school districts. I can't get the homeowners now to petition the school districts. Because they're looking at it, we already know that it's fine. I don't look at them, I look at 30 years down the road. When they sell that property, who's gonna know this?
So like last meeting when we were here, we were talking about like students, schools of choice, where the kids would go to school, that's not gonna be a factor then?
No.
It's all gonna be just,
This is just changing
we
the
talked
school
about the
district.
superintendent's meeting, Lake Orion superintendent meeting, and Tim, and discuss the student and which one's going which way, and so that will not enter in.
Not for this development. Now, there might be another development where we have this issue. There are some bordering developments, but they've not come to fruition yet.
And we had an updated determination of what lots are gonna be, or which ones will be at Oxford.
Just the diagram that we had. That I
So
presented.
it's the same?
It's the same, yeah.
Okay.
So all of those lots that are divided by a line, they are determined, right, predetermined now as to what school district they're in.
Correct, the way that we marked it up, absolutely, yes.
I did not understand it
Oh.
the way last time. So yeah, that makes it a lot more
And then
sense.
both school boards have to submit their resolution to the ISD.
Right.
They sign off on it, it's a done deal.
Tonight obviously is ours, and then tomorrow night, actually, Lake Orion has their school board meeting where this same resolution is going to them for vote.
That was my last question.
Sorry for interrupting you.
No, that's okay. I'm just glad to see that everything's.
I like it, because then everybody knows. Everybody knows this is where you're gonna go to school.
It's cut and dry.
So from the process, Joe, let's just say our board was to approve it tonight and Lake Orion's board was to approve theirs tomorrow night. That's still not the end of the process. Then both John from Lake Orion and Sam from Oxford have to jointly petition the ISD to,
Make
I'll
this
say,
determination.
physically move that boundary line instead of a straight line, it's down to be jagged a little bit to incorporate that entire parcel in one or the other district.
Correct. Then we can let the developer know that, hey, this is the new rule. So you sell these lots, this is what you can tell your potential buyers.
And would there be any, I don't know, historical data that tells us that, is it like 100% the ISD approves these, or will the can the ISD come back and say, doesn't matter if both districts have approved this, we're denying it?
Usually if you guys are in agreement, they usually go right along with it. It's when there's conflict.
Okay.
Like if you say yes, and Ryan says, no way, we don't want this, then there'll be some issues. If you're both in agreement, usually they go smooth.
What's the status of the development? I missed the last meeting too. Is any work been done? Has any properties been sold?
I don't think anything's been sold yet. I know he's doing site work. He's going through the whole process.
Doing
This was his big
underground or
hurdle.
whatever?
This was his major hurdle because people were asking him.
Okay.
You know, if I'm interested in lot 10, where would my kids go? We don't know. Could go to Oxford, could go to Orion. Now we can tell them, this is where your students will go.
Okay.
And I have a question of Tim. What do you see as the advantages and disadvantages of this plan?
I think the advantage is just, especially for a potential new homeowner, they know exactly what district they're buying their house in, there's no question. Disadvantage would be if I bought a Lake Orion house and I pay higher taxes and I want my kid to come to Oxford schools, in most cases, if we're under today's laws and board-approved school choice policy, those students could still come. However, if it's a senior, and they've got a senior, an 8th grader, and a 6th grader, even with current schools of choice, that senior would be able to just enroll in Oxford School of Choice. And I think that's where just, at least during my tenure and with Marion down at Lake Orion, we've just, got to work together to say, listen, when these new developments come in, if there's a family that has that kind of situation, we just, have to work that out and do what's best for the family. And I don't have a problem doing that. I've signed numerous waivers, I believe they're called, and Marion has signed waivers on our behalf as well. So I don't see that as a problem.
Excellent. Any further questions for Mr. Furner?
Thank you very much for coming, Joe.
Yeah, thanks for coming, I really appreciate it.
I just think that builder's gonna be selling out all those Oxford lots pretty quick.
Those are gonna cost more, right, Jim?
That was a joke, okay? That was just a joke. I love our neighbors down there.
All right.
I move to approve resolution for assigning lots within a new residential development referred to as North Oakland Woods to both Oxford Community Schools and Lake Orion Community Schools as presented.
Support? Mr. Schweig? Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, thank you. Item 8, Human Resources. Slikowski. You're busy, huh?
Yes. So I'm pleased to share with public board has seen the new hires and their recommendation who are approved this evening. Shiloh Christie for OVA math teacher, Catherine Egan for school social worker, and Rory McDonald, special education, middle school, and Cody Rook, 5th grade at Clear Lake. So we are continuing to interview. We have a few more positions to fill, and we're working hard to get there.
All right, very good. Thank you. Item number 9, Student Services. Sweet.
In your board pack was the code of conduct to review. I just wanted to go through and highlight those changes for you. Number 7 was food service delivery. There was a change there that food deliveries to students from outside vendors would be prohibited. This does not include parents bringing in treats for elementary birthday parties. This is more for high school kids that are in the cafeteria ordering,
Ordering a pizza?
Yeah, and then they're coming into the office, and then the secretaries are trying to track down kids that are ordering pizzas, and so that's what that is really all about. There was middle school and high school had some questions about the cell phone discipline, and there were no changes to the current code, but there were some, it was clarified in the board guidelines, the steps that occurred prior to a code of conduct violation, and in the policy guidelines, we clarified that the first offense, the device is confiscated and held in a secure location, then given back at the end of the day. The second offense, the device is confiscated, and then the parent comes and picks it up, and then the third offense, it goes to the code of conduct, and it's spelled out there. So we just tried to help the high school and middle school clarify those kind of pre-code of conduct steps. Tobacco violations were changed from a C to a D. So just kind of up the ante there. The C was steps 2 or 3, and D is steps 3 and 4. So, and that also includes e-cigarettes. And then there was a change, the last change was to the suspension expulsion. And suspensions that are less than 10 days are handled at the building level.
And there's an appeal process to the superintendent or designee. That's for less than 10 days. Suspensions and expulsions that are 10 days or more now go to a district tribunal for a hearing. Those are held during the school day. And then there is, Tim keeps you all abreast of any of those long-term suspensions, expulsions through his board notes. We had 3 that we did last spring. The tribunal is Brad Bigelow, Todd Dunkley, or Daisha Beasley, depending on where the offense is. So if the offense occurred at the middle school, Daisha is not on the tribunal. It's Todd, Brad, and myself. If the offense occurred at the high school, Todd's out, and it's Daisha, myself, and Brad, because we just felt that the administrator where the offense occurred oftentimes is part of that investigation and could make that tribunal less than fair if they had some information. Let me see my other notes. We have forms and processes in place to appeal. So if the parent or the student or the guardian wants to appeal the tribunal's decision, they may appeal the process, and that would go to the board or to Tim. We've put processes in place to clearly define the process itself. So the 3 hearings that we had over this in the spring, no one appealed those decisions. Pat sits on that tribunal with us as the note taker. Your opinion?
Very smooth, very fair. It's nice to do them during the day. I think they went very well. To compliment Denise on forms and process that everybody can follow, including the deans. It's worked quite well.
So that's it on the code of conduct. If you have any questions?
I have a question. If it were at the middle school, Daisha could still present the evidence, but she's not part of the decision-making process on the tribunal.
Correct. So
The
it's
evidence
still,
still comes from
Mhm.
that
So-
circle, but.
right, so the evidence is presented by, if the issue was at the middle school, Daisha and the dean, and then the tribunal that hears Daisha's presentation and the parents' presentation is heard by Todd, then myself and Brad. And then just flip-flop if it's a high school.
Thank you.
Anything else? Okay,
Thank you.
yeah.
Item number 11, clarification. Oh, I'm sorry. Item 10, unscheduled audience participation.
Hi, Paul Foster, Oxford, Michigan. I wanted to say thank you very much to the board, to Mr. Throne for the new playground equipment that went in at OES and DA. If you haven't had a chance to go there, please make it worth your time. The rope structure at OES, which is so age appropriate for those kids over there, is magnificent. It's one of a kind. It's going to do such a world of good at those buildings, and I appreciate what you do and listening to the community and helping it that get set up for this new school year. So thank you very much.
Two. All right, item 11, clarification. None? Final board comments, Mrs. Brazington.
Any update on student enrollment? As far as like where you think we're at?
Seated, we're
Seated?
pretty close to where we were last year, so that means while we've accepted more in, we haven't done all the transfers out, and we were pretty flat last year, so I think our seated enrollment is going to be pretty steady.
Okay.
I think when it comes to our virtual, I think we'll be up. I'm not really comfortable saying, yeah, we're going to be up 20 or 50 or what have you. Not sure. But with both the shared time as well as some of the new partnerships through the Virtual Academy, I think that FTE headcount will go up. And so we're, I don't know.
I feel like where we budgeted was appropriate or close.
Yeah, we budgeted zero growth.
Yeah, there's no
And so, you know, the majority of our cost is seated, and so I feel real comfortable that we're optimistic. But, yeah, it could be much worse, but I think we're pretty much seeing what we expected.
Great. Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. Schweik.
Appreciate the presentations tonight from Ken and Drew. Excellent job, and it's giving us information that I think we can utilize to make better decisions as we go along as a board. Certainly. Two things to remind us about coming up. We still need to finalize the superintendent's evaluation procedure and the artifacts that we're going to use to determine that. And that's by design. When we left that session that we were going to do that. And I mean, we just need to do it in the near future. And then if we could get an update on at a future meeting on our strategic plan process, where we're at in terms of what we're looking at as the dates that we need to hit as far as implementing anything, or what we're going to be using as measurements in terms of student assessment for growth and achievement. I see Drew had some data up there regarding what they use for OVA, and I think that something similar to that might be a starting point for us.
I think pretty much said everything to say for OVA. Will we have the opportunity to come tour that when it's done?
Absolutely. We were hoping that possibly it would be ready for the night.
Yeah, I
We're
really
pushing.
that. I almost called to just say, is it gonna be ready? This really has nothing to do with the district, but then in a way it does. Elise, I wanted to compliment you because I've really enjoyed reading your articles, whether it has to do with the district or something else. You're well spoken and they always seem to be very balanced. And obviously when you're a school board, that's always really appreciated, so I just wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you, thanks.
Mrs. Mitchell?
I wanted to ask Tim, where are we at for that millage for next November? I mean, as we found out, you can't start too early, so where are we at?
So we are working with a community group that has come forward who basically has said we want to, I'll say, own more of this, which is great because they can do things that we can't. We met last week at the Parks and Rec offices one night, and that group is getting formed. We're also getting our internal, I'll say, groups and information more clearly defined, and having our administrators reach out to all of our subgroups, whether it's PTOs and athletic boosters and all those people, and getting all that aligned, making sure that people know the importance of this vote and what all the facts are. We are going to be putting a lot more information out sooner because we want to make sure that we let people know the information for those voters who do absentee ballots. And so we want to make sure we hit them. And so, I don't know, Sam, if there's something else, I've really put a lot of this on Sam's plate. And so I think we're, I don't know, reaching out, being much more organized and intentional this time. And so the good news is that I am appreciative that we've had a lot more feedback from, I'll say, the typical parent who is owning this more, and it's not feeling like we're having to, you know, convince people or jam something down their throat or whatever. They understand it, they want to own it, and it's much easier to motivate people when that happens. And so I'm encouraged by all those signs.
Are they gonna have signs, like yard signs? Is there gonna be a place we can all sign up to have one in our yard or pick them up?
Yeah, it's a great question, and actually, there's going to be to the best of our knowledge, 2 ballot question committees, which will be advocating for a vote, obviously, a positive vote in November. And so through those committees, they're able to, through donations received, obviously produce signs and pass signs out. So once we get the names of those committees and they're registered with the county, that information will be disseminated. So we're really looking forward to continuing what we've been doing the last 2 weeks, which is developing the educational materials and then getting them out to the proper individuals, putting it on our website, just really spreading the message and educating individuals of what this obviously non-homestead millage is and what it isn't. And so I think that also having these ballot question committees that are really just spearheaded by just really proactive parents that just want to get out there and assist the district. We had an outpouring of support since the millage failed 2 weeks ago. And so it's really been also very positive for us to identify who these individuals are that want to assist the district. So I think that's going to be really positive.
I think it's been good too in that with the action taken by the state earlier. I don't want to say we were paranoid with what we could and couldn't do, but we were really, really careful, and we sided on the side of caution if we didn't know. And so we are continuing every day to gain more information from like Brad, the lawyer from MASB, and asking him, as a school board member, what are you allowed or not allowed to do? Can you advocate for a yes vote, or can you not do that? When can you do that? If so, can it be on school property? Can it not be on school property? Just all those types of things that I don't think we just got that far the last time, and if we did, we just sort of backed away because we didn't want to break any laws. And so we're becoming much more knowledgeable about the whole process too. So.
What is the current understanding on that as far as board members promoting vote yes?
So you can advocate for a yes. You are not an employee of the district. There are some regulations in which you cannot advocate for yes, and so we'll clarify all those times where you can and you can't. But I'm thinking of just simple things before, like we really didn't ask anybody to write a letter to the editor in support of that. Do I think we should have either a common statement from the board or board members writing a letter to the editor? Yes. Prior to this, and because of the proposed changes, we didn't even want to request it because we didn't want to put you in a position where, okay, yeah, I'll do that, Tim, and then we find out later that you get busted for doing that. So we're getting a lot of those clarifications, and some of those things that were in doubt because that law was appealed or struck down. It really wasn't even a law yet. I think it was, I'm not even sure of the correct terminology, but
Public Act.
yeah, the Public Act was, the judge basically said, no, you don't have to go by these new rules, which means we can go back prior to that and do some things that we normally would do. And so, yeah, we'll put all those together for you too.
I'm more of the mind, I'll say I'm sorry before I ask permission, so I want a sign in my yard.
Hey, Tim, just a note to that to help you. I realize not everybody uses Facebook, but one of our advocate groups has started an Oxford The Future Starts Now group that it's open to join. They have a form fill out that you fill out, name, address. I'm willing for you to put a yard sign in my yard. I'm willing for you to give me a pack of door hangers to walk my street. I'm willing to step out of the way. It doesn't say that, but you know what I'm saying. So they've had some help filling that out, I myself, so that they can collect
Not on
information.
school time.
Yeah, not on school time, it was after hours. But so that they can collect that information that we can't unless we just work 24/7, so.
So you're gonna also put in the leader, just bullet point, simple,
Yes.
right to it. this is what it means, bomb,
Yes.
bomb, bomb. This is what a no means, boom, 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 right? Just so they can, I mean, that's all they need, I think. It's just, they need it, just shoot from the hip, give it to them.
Our biggest thing is figuring out that reach of the 73% of our population that aren't tied to schools, and how do you reach them? So if you guys have any idea, no one is limiting those good ideas, because it's a hard group. Leader has its reach, we have our reach, but it misses 73% of our population, so.
Well, we'll hit them with the signs and stuff.
Yep, that's
They're driving somewhere.
correct.
I'll even put them on notice. I don't care. Notice buses.
Anything with free food will draw some of them. But maybe your churches,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I got an email draft to the Oxford Oral Ministerial Association, which I know 35 plus of those pastors, so.
Thank you.
Mr. Reese?
Great presentation, Drew, Ken. It's great being at this table with all these bright minds these past few years. It's incredible. I'm not trying to kiss up or anything. I really seriously mean that. It's been really a pleasure to sit at this table with so many smart people all these years. That's it.
Okay. Mr. Stepik?
I want to thank Drew too, as well. Nice presentation, nice to see that I wasn't around here in the beginning, so all I have is the after effect, which is amazing. And after watching that program last night, I'm like, wow. Which is the same thing that I get when I go to all these school conferences and I hear about all the other people talking about all the negativity and all the, what do we close next? And I don't ever hear that here. And that's, to me, you know, you're a big part of that, so thank you.
An additional comment.
yeah, just while we were talking about the election and things, it just kind of brought something to my mind. I read a couple of comments, one critiquing someone who's interested in serving on the board because they want to learn. I think that's a good thing. I can't speak for the rest of you, but I know when I came, I didn't have much of a clue of what I was getting into or how decisions were made and how things were being done. But boy, have I learned a lot since. But I think what really mattered was each of us came with passion and a heart for children. And then I saw another comment about critiquing someone who wants to help pass the bond and do they not realize it already failed. But I think it's always good to step back before you criticize someone and think, because probably the candidate was interviewed before they knew that it failed. It just happened to be that's when it went in the paper.
Yeah.
And that fell between when we decided to put it back on. So I just think it's really, it frustrates me and it hurts me. I don't even know the other candidate, but it hurts me for them that you're put out to the public like some type of imbecile when you didn't even bother to have a conversation to find out the timeline that probably the interview was before. So I guess all that is just to say, I know elections, we went through the last one, we all rode that wave. I know they can be back and forth and tumultuous, but I just think it's always good to just think about what you say and maybe do a little research before you throw something out there. Again, it's attacking two people's reputations that have nothing to do with any of us. And I was upset 2 weeks ago with the attack on the school. And those kind of things just drive me nuts. So I just hope the public gives all of the candidates a chance and maybe learn for yourself who they are and what they're about versus what somebody else wants you to think they're about.
Is there going to be a meet the candidates thing like there was?
I would love to see that. I think Rod Charles set that up, didn't he?
I believe it.
Yeah, that would be wonderful. He would do
Yeah,
it again.
I've spoken with him, and he's just calming down from he said he is interested in doing that again, and I told him it was very effective last time that they did it and appreciated it, and he's going to be looking at that opportunity again. But he said it was a tremendous operation for the whole Lone Ranger Festival, putting that all together and finding everything. So he is interested in doing it, which is great.
Okay, well, I guess it leaves it to me. Again, thanks for the presentations, Ken, Drew. Paula, thanks for coming and let us know that the people that are working very hard to raise money and have got what they so passionately worked for. And I'm glad that we as a board have been able to assist in financially that way. And I know that there's been teachers and principals out at those playgrounds as well. So it is good to see that we're growing in our scope of playground, because I know that's, you know, I love recess. That was my favorite. But so now you can understand.
We're all very surprised.
Oh, you're surprised.
It's either that or lunch, right?
Well, they chuckle because they identify.
But I also want to, you know, there's been a lot of you know, talk and conversation and about the millage and everything like that, and you know, great questions came up tonight, and there's only one way to go forward, and that's just to attack it. And we attack it as a district. We attack it with educating people, and I have to believe in my heart that once we get out there and people realize what they're voting for, you know, Oxford's a great place, and I have confidence in those people that maybe didn't understand why they voted no, and there's some people that voted no and they understood it, and that's their prerogative. But I have confidence that our community will rally around our district, and so with that, Mr. Crone.
I think I would just like to say, you know, whether it's Nancy and her department who's been going crazy hiring people, or Denise and student services and all the enrollments, or Ova, or Ken, all the time that's been put into, pointing out some of our best and most in-depth professional learning plans already articulated for the entire year, and going through the student learning objective, the slow process, and tying that into I-observation or SAM and operations, and you know, putting finishing touches on whether it's playground stuff, or we've done a ton of work with the sidewalks. You know, I don't know if some of you saw, but man, some of our sidewalks at the elementary schools, we had so many orange cones that looked like a
24
motocross, you know, track on the sidewalk. There were so many potholes and stuff, and you know, while we can't do everything that we want to do, I'm real happy with the team and how everybody is just really working hard right now. And the harder we work now to the beginning of school, I think just helps to have a better start to school, and the more planning and the more work that we get done prior will just pay off later on. So for everyone, I appreciate their hard work and time put in. A lot of people think, oh, well, okay, you just show up Tuesday after Labor Day and turn the lights on and we start. And boy, I tell you, we've been going at it hard for the last couple of weeks, and we got a couple more weeks, and we'll get there. So that's all I have to say. Thanks.
You want to mention next Monday, since we won't meet again, the 29th, we have the welcome back, and we put it in here.
Oh, just, yeah, you all are invited to our welcome back breakfast Monday morning the 29th. If you can make it, great. If you can't, totally understand, but if you can, just let Pat know if you would just RSVP to her, and we'll go from there. Same way with that invitation from Oakland Schools meeting, if you would just let Pat know, she will take care of those arrangements for you as well.
And then before school starts, there's a game, football game this Friday.
Yep.
And then another home game next Friday. So there's 2 games at home before school starts. So that's, as the Booster Club folk here like to say, the more the merrier.
Come hungry.
Come hungry.
I'm hungry and thirsty.
We don't have your athletic passes right now, so
Correct.
just let them know at the gate, you're a
Right.
board member.
Or you can just pay the $5 if you want. No, the athletic passes, it's been a problem with up the stream. It's not a problem here, it's up the stream, so we should get those hopefully before the next home game. But just let them know, I hope you can all come out. Hopefully, looks like the weather's gonna be nice. And playing Romeo, state champs, so. Again, I'm just extremely proud of this group of people, so. And with that,
Need to go to closed session.
we need a motion to go into closed session. I knew we were going, I saw it here. If it was out here, I'd be able to see it better, but, okay, here we go.
Move to meet in closed session pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, Section 8C, for strategy and negotiation sessions connected with the negotiation of a collective bargaining agreement if either negotiation party requests a closed hearing.
Support, Mr. Schweig. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.